Today's episode, we're talking about iconic brands and more importantly, how you can build an iconic brand. And there are 4 key things that must happen to be iconic. That is, first, you must honor your product. Second, you must honor your people. Third, you must honor your brand community. And fourth, you must extend beyond the life of the creator or the current leader. And that's what iconic brands do. We're celebrating Chris Madrid's, which just popped up on Facebook. Look, voted best burger in San Antonio again. Icon, symbol of something significant and distinct. That's what every brand wants to be, is what we're talking about on this episode. Let's go. Hey there, my name is Ed Howie, and this is How We Grow a Brand.
1, 2, 3.
If you like what you learned from this episode, subscribe to our channel, and hey, smash that like button. You ready to go? Let's get on to today's chat. Are you an icon? Are you an icon? Are you an icon? Are you an icon? Is your brand iconic? Well, can you honestly and humbly answer that as yes if it is? Well, maybe we take away is your brand iconic? And we pose a question in this episode as to what would it take for your brand to be iconic? That feels a little more comfortable. Well, I believe there's 4 things that must exist for a brand to be iconic. First is your brand has to honor the product. And I don't mean not just the product you create, but the product and what the category of products represent. Okay, so honor the product. Second is, I believe iconic brands have to honor the team. They have to truly care, truly connect, and truly recognize the role that the team plays in the production and the delivery and the creation and the sustenance of the brand enterprise. Third is iconic brands honor the community they serve, the community they've served in the past, the community they serve presently, and the community they're going to serve for years and years to come, because that's where the 4th part comes in. I believe iconic brands must survive the founder. Now, what does that mean? Well, as an entrepreneur, one of the things that we as entrepreneurs can do, or upstarts or new brands, is we think about how to start the business, but we don't always think about what it looks like in the next chapter. And so an iconic brand is not just looking at the business and enterprise. An iconic brand leader is not just looking at the business and enterprise as it exists today or how it existed since inception, but what can this brand enterprise do for the world even beyond my participation in the enterprise? So the question is, do you want to be iconic? Well, I don't think we can ultimately decide if we're iconic or not. I believe it's actually one of those crowdsourced decisions. It's one of those things that if people regard you as iconic, then you're iconic. But if you just tell people you're iconic, then maybe you're not iconic. So how do we look at this from the lens of a customer as well as a brand leader? Well, I will tell you that if you've ever been in San Antonio, Texas, I certainly hope that you have had what I would consider one of the most iconic hamburger brands, I would say, in the world, is Chris Madrid's. Now, full disclosure, and here's where the little disclaimer is going to go across the screen. Chris Madrid's is one of our clients at B2I Creative. And so they do pay us for our marketing and branding services. But we didn't create the brand. Heck no. We worked with them for multiple years. But we were a huge fan of the brand way before we started working with them from a marketing standpoint. As a matter of fact, when I got connected to the individual who now owns Chris Madrid's, Richard Peacock, I was connected to a friend, and the friend told me what they needed, but I didn't even know that it was Chris Madrid. So when I realized that the first meeting I was having with Richard was at Chris Madrid's, and he was calling about Chris Madrid's, I did the big old happy dance, because Chris Madrid's is an iconic hamburger brand, but more importantly, it's an iconic brand in our community. And it was founded by Chris Madrid back 45 years ago. Now, Chris Madrid, the founder, actually passed away unexpectedly from a heart attack in the early 2010s. And the family ran the business for a while, and then they asked Richard Peacock and his wife Brooke to acquire the business, and the Peacocks have stewarded the business since then. still in close partnership with the family. And what Chris created, and if you ever went to Chris Madrid's, you back in the early 2000s, 1990s, 1980s, you probably knew Chris Madrid. It's cool that there are people who still talk about him, even though he's been gone for a while. He created first a product that honored hamburgers. And one of the ways he created a product that honored hamburgers is he created a really good formula, if you will, for the meat and his cooking process. But then the signature item is the cheddar cheesy, and it has this most amazing, luscious 5 pounds. Well, it's not really 5 pounds, but it feels like 5 pounds in a good way of cheddar cheese just melted perfectly over the burger to where you have cheese in every single bite of your cheeseburger, which, sorry, Ronald, that doesn't happen with a hamburger or cheeseburger at McDonald's. Even the Big Mac, you don't get a bite of cheese in every single bite of the burger, but a cheddar cheesy delivers amazing amounts of lusciously melted cheese in every single bite of the burger to the point where it actually hangs out over the burger patty, over the bottom bun, and it is utterly delicious. So first, using Chris Madrid's as an example, you better honor the product. So if you're looking to be the next dress shirt or the next marker, hey, Sharpie, you're iconic. The next marker or the next app on a phone, it better be first, best, or only in the category in which you're wanting to compete. So first and foremost, from the day it was created to today, Chris Madrid's honors the product. Not only the category, but the product. Second is they honor their people. Now, what's incredible about the evolution of Chris Madrid's is that it remains family-owned, a different family. The Peacocks, at the request of the Madrids, took over ownership of Chris Madrid's. And 45 days after that transfer of stewardship occurred, Chris Madrid's, the restaurant, caught on fire. And so not only had the Peacocks just acquired the restaurant, but they now have a building that has to be repaired, and they have employees which they've committed employment that have nowhere to work. So the Peacocks were able to keep the employees employed by immediately building a food truck, setting it up in the parking lot in the little side yard beside the parking lot, and operated their restaurant for about 18 months under pop-up tents and a food truck with picnic tables and hay. And when it rained, the little river, Chris Madrid's River, came through where you sat. But they not only kept the business viable and going for the purpose of enterprise, they did it so they could keep their employees involved, their employees employed, their employees connected, these employees who had worked for Chris Madrid's for years and years and years. So Chris Madrid's honors the product and they honor their people. Now, what's crazy about this is that in the time that it was rebuilt, they had the situation where they had the food truck, and then they were able to rebuild and do some slight expansion and reopen. As they reopened in October of 2019, and then wham, March 2020, COVID hits. They'd never done a whole lot of takeout business. They didn't have an online ordering app. They were able to get an online ordering app set up and established within like 3 to 4 days to where they could keep their employees involved and keep their customers with great access still to cheddar cheesies and all the incredible products, because they honor the product and they honor their people. And by honoring your product and honoring your people, you do the third thing, which is you honor your community. You honor those who are not only directly attached to the transactions of your brand, you honor those who are collectively attached to the significance, the relevance of the brand. Now, what's crazy is Chris Madrid's is like one single hamburger restaurant, if you want to call it that, in San Antonio, Texas. That one restaurant has over 50 to 53,000 followers on Facebook. One restaurant, 53,000 followers. More than just a burger, that's for sure. And then the fourth thing that's critical and essential, and like I believe the most consequential stewardship of the brands we create as brand leaders and brand founders, is that can and will our brand extend past our life? And what's incredible is that I didn't know Chris Madrid when he opened Chris Madrid's. We weren't even in Texas. I knew of him and saw him in the restaurant, but we weren't like buds or anything. But he definitely had in mind, I've got to believe, something of what he created as far as with just the way he set up the business and the brand and the experience to where you bring in your T-shirt and sign it, and he'd tack it up on the walls. And it was just and still remains a very like universally uniting, welcoming place for anyone and everyone. You know, it was one of our go-to places after Little League, whether it be baseball or football games on Saturdays. We'd go out, grab a picnic table, sit in the courtyard. It had a place in our life way beyond the consumption of a burger at a mealtime. So I don't know what Chris intended when he built, but I do know that what Chris built and what the Madrid family supported and sustained and what the Peacocks have partnered with and have expanded and extended and has the same heart is that they have a phrase that is said, and it's not really a slogan, but it's like burgers made with love. And if you don't know the brand, you go, that's cute or kind of cheesy. Cheesy, get it? But it's true, is that the heart and passion that the employees at Chris Madrid's, that the customers talk about Chris Madrid's and the way they talk about Chris Madrid's. So let's go to Chris Madrid's today, or they plan on going to Chris Madrid's on Saturday after the game, or that kind of thing. It's one of those things that's way more than just let's go get a hamburger. So do you want your brand to be iconic? Well, I don't believe you can like necessarily convince people for your brand to become iconic, but I do believe your brand can become iconic and you can represent it as an iconic brand. And the way you do that is you first and foremost have to honor your product. Second, you must honor your people and their connection to your product. Third, you must honor your brand community. And fourth, your brand must have the ability to live beyond just the cleverness or creativity of one individual. The definition of icon is a symbol of something important or distinct. A symbol. What do you want your brand to be a symbol of? And if you want it to be a symbol of that, you better make sure that it is that today. Because calling something an icon is not a forward aspirational message. It is a representation of how you steward what you have had to date. So be a good steward, honor your product, honor your people, honor your brand community, and build an enterprise that can live beyond you or its current leader and become an iconic brand. Whether you become iconic or not, those 4 steps are 4 things that I promise you will help you grow your brand. I sure hope this helps you with your brand, your business, your life. As importantly, I hope this has inspired your day. If you'd like to learn more about me or how I grow a brand, go to edhowie.com. Or better yet, if you want to book me to come speak to your group, click Book Ed to Speak, and I'll bring the woo to you. Can't wait to see you next time on How We Grow a Brand.